Okay, everybody, welcome to the Monday, December 13th regular Cross Lake City Council meeting. Let's please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for coming. First on the agenda, we got to approve some additions to the agenda. One addition is a resolution accepting donations, and another one is an email dated December 10th from Steve Roll to Dave Nevin, amendment to the signed flag ordinance. Under its city administrator, we need a resolution to approve trash haulers. And under Public Works, review quotes for lift station controls from Quality Flow. So do we have a motion to approve those?
So moved.
I second it.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries, all in favor. Next, critical issues, resolution approving final 2021 tax levy to be payable in 2022. Mike, you want to take that?
Sure. TJ, go ahead and put that up on the screen. I'm going to need you to do page 1. There you go. What you have in front of you is what we discussed at our 6 o'clock meeting. That is the resolution approving the final 21 tax levy collectible in 2022. The total is $4,467,112 as presented, and that represents a tax rate of 27.46%. That's an estimate. And that's an overall reduction in our overall levy from last year of $18,740.
So does anybody have any questions on it? Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution approving the final 2021 tax levy collectible in 2022.
I second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any other conversation about it? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, all in favor.
TJ, go ahead and put page 2 up there. Okay, now the second part of this is our summary budget for 2022. Now, we just approved the levy that's built into here. We know we'll have some reallocations probably sometime in 2022 when we know what final amounts are on construction projects. So what I'd like from the council is a motion to approve the 2022 revenue and expenditure summary budget.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2022 city budget.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, 3, Alden and TJ have got an update on the playground. And I understand we have a special person here that's going to attend this.
Two, yes, we do.
Good.
We have the Mike and Jill, the Dietz family here, and so we'll honor them later and
Oh,
talk.
okay, great.
This is really a special night for us because we're here to approve Phase 5 of the addition. Excuse me. It'll be a new feature to our plan for the playground equipment. We're proposing a Mary Lou Dietz Memorial Obstacle Course to be built just northeast of the current area. TJ will show pictures of it and show the layout of the diagram so you understand it. This $80,000 project will be among the largest projects we've done for the community. It will leave a legacy for the future of our youth for many decades. It'll be an adventure for hundreds and hundreds of our children for many years. Like the first equipment we installed 20 years ago, it will continue to serve the community and provide excitement for kids. We are thankful for Dick Dietz and his family as they have chosen to remember Mary Lou in this way. Mary Lou was a very active leader in our library youth program and many other activities in our community. She loved to work with children, and with Dick's help, made wonderful children's programs for us. Many years, we had a remarkable summer youth program. I can remember stagecoaches being here, wolves being on the site, eagles. In fact, I was startled one day when I was in the community center, walked into one of the rooms, and there 6 feet away was a live eagle. That's the closest I've ever been to it. And you can imagine the kids, what an experience they had. And this is what they did for our community for many years. And so I think it's wonderful that we have this chance to give a memorial for Mary Lou and to thank the Dietz for what they're going to do. Now, some have expressed interest in joining this project, and we have opportunities for that. One of the simple ways is it'd be nice to have benches around the playground. And some have volunteered to pay for a bench, and it'll be a memorial then for Mary Lou. And so we can have a group around there. So if people would like to participate and help us with this, we have opportunities for it. And this is a chance for many people to honor Mary Lou. Jill and Mike, of course, their children are here tonight. After TJ's presentation, then we'll have them come up, and we'd like to thank them. So, TJ?
Alden, I got a question for you. Have we ever memorialized any piece of equipment or bench or anything in Cross Lake before?
We have done benches for a number of years. And so they'll say on the memory of, and then the person's name. And so we've not done a large project like that. We've done, I guess, the ball field many years, maybe 30 years ago, 40 years ago.
What a great concept, huh?
It is really nice. It's a nice tribute, and it's a nice experience and provides a service to the community. So, TJ, now the best part.
Thanks, Alden. I'll just give you a quick run through of what this playground equipment entails. As you'll see, these agility pods, what they call them, there's a little girl on jumping across those. There's 14 agility pods in the proposed project. So it would go from our existing playground structures or surface area to the obstacle course. You'll see the obstacle course there. I'll give you a quick overview. There are 10 separate components to the obstacle course put in one unit itself. So there's 10 opportunities to climb, jump, and so on and so forth. So I'll run through it now. Here's kind of a side profile. You'll see those agility pods to the right, and then we'll go on. There's a little climbing feature there. Like I said, there's 10 different components in this one system itself. These are the proposed colors. They do match our colors that we will be having for the Bison River, which PAL has generously donated money for. And you'll see an overhead shot there. And there's coming off of the last component back to the agility pods. And there's a pretty cool opportunity here with this obstacle course. And actually, Dick brought this idea up. There's a potential timing unit that you can put along with or install with this obstacle course. So in the future, we could have events. Kids can come and race their friends. And it'd be a pretty cool opportunity. Say we have a day in the park and we can incorporate this in that day in the park. And here you'll see where it will be placed. The conceptual plan, where northeast portion, you see on the lower left-hand corner, there's where the Bison River will be placed. That's what PAL has donated funds for. You'll see our existing playground, or our existing swings and tire swings. So it's a part of our playground surface, but it's also secluded, giving Mary Lou a great memorial for our community.
Okay, so with that, then we'd like to have the two of you come up and maybe take a picture of the two of them. Would you come go with Dave there? Or Dave, come over here. Maybe go right in front here if you don't mind. TJ.
You guys are going to bring many smiles for many years to this. All right.
Thank you, guys. Okay, now we'd like a motion to accept the donation. TJ?
Can you put Dick up on there? Is he there? I don't know if he's on video or not. We'll check in.
He's on, but his video is not on.
Well, Dick, hopefully you can hear us. And I just want to tell you how much pleasure you're going to bring to not only kids, but families and the whole community for 30 years to come. That's got to be very satisfying for you. It's real satisfying for me just to be a part of the acceptance of it. So I personally thank you very much for what you're doing in Alden.
Thank you.
You too.
This is a very special time for the community, and it's doing something for the long term. And I think it's something with just nothing but goodness in it. Okay, now I'd like to talk about the next step, and TJ will show the next thing. We talked about different phases of the program, and one of the phases is this swing set. And it's got a unique feature. TJ, do you want to describe the special swings?
Did we want to make a motion for?
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Did you want to do that before you move on?
Yep.
So
got
can
so
I?
excited.
And I would like to add a little piece here at the end. Thank you again to the Dietzes for this generous contribution. It's going to be a great memorial for years and years and years to come. It's going to serve thousands and thousands and thousands of kids, not only in our community, but also around our community. I know that this play system is very unique to the Brainerd Lakes area. It's going to pull a lot of kids in to Cross Lake, and it's going to bring a lot of enjoyment for all. So thank you again to the Dietz.
Okay,
So- With that being said, I would be honored to make that a motion to accept the donation of $80,000. Is that right?
Yes.
I'll second that.
Fabulous. Any other comments on this? All in favor? Oh, here, she had a comment. Please, come on up.
Thank you.
Don't be nervous. Look at us.
My mother was a member of this community for 70 years, and my father for nearly as many. And this is just a really beautiful way to honor her, so thank you. And I'm here with my brother, and my other brother couldn't join us, but my dad's up there too, so it's really a really nice way, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All in favor. All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. And now I'd like to make one more pitch. And so we had talked before about 4 phases. We added Dick's, it was a 5-phase. Now I'd like to talk about the 3rd phase. This is the swing set. And it's not a big stretch for us, and so I'd like the community, if they would, help us with this, with donations. And I'm thinking it's in the $20,000 to $30,000 range. And so a little donation by many of us can make this possible. And it's got a unique feature on it, something that's, I think, quite special. TJ, why don't you talk about it?
Yeah, so on the right side, you'll see what's called an expression swing. And so what we have proposed to put into the new swing set, there are 2 expression swings. One is with an adult swing and then a toddler, and then both on the right side, both the adult swing feature. This allows friends to swing together facing each other. It allows a parent to face their toddler, swing together. It's ADA accessible. It's really new to the market. Again, this is not what you see at every playground within the area, so it's, again, how we can separate ourselves, have state-of-the-art facility, and draw more kids and parents to the community.
So this is kind of a challenge to the community to step forward, huh?
That's right. And I think we're trying to do things in the spring, and so we'd like to order this too this winter with Dietz's gift. We'll order that right away, like next week. And so we'd like to order this too so we get it in time. But the idea is a young parent bringing their kid in, strapping the kid in and swinging with her. What a neat thing.
Yeah.
And probably for us, it's not kids, maybe grandkids or maybe great-grandkids, but it's a possibility for us. TJ, it's a possibility for him. Because he's
And who would they make this donation to?
to the PAL Foundation.
Okay.
And they can just mark on it, for playground equipment.
Yeah, no, that's fine. You hadn't told us who to send it to.
Yep, that's right.
And I will add, we're trying to be fiscally responsible with Mary Lou Dietz equipment. We are paying less for the supervised install because we are doing it at the same time as our Bison River, which is what PAL donated for. So if we're looking at these other phases, the swing set and some of the other amenities, we could potentially save quite a bit of money between freight and supervised install. You know, as originally we're looking at maybe 4 years it would take us to do this. So, you know, if we can pull some funds together, use park dedication funding, use donations throughout the community to get this 4 or 5 phase project done and save money with, like I said, the freight and the supervised install would be pretty special.
Okay, so we're gonna call on Nancy and Mr. Bob Led to make a special point of that in the paper and try to get everybody's attention out there in TV and radio land, and let's all step up and make it happen, huh?
Good.
They
Thank you,
need
guys.
$20,000 to $30,000 is what you'd like to see.
Yes, we like that.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Cindy, you're up. Approval of the Winterfest fireworks display.
Good evening, Cindy Mugato with the Cross Lake Chamber of Commerce, and I'm here this evening to talk to you about Winterfest and St. Patrick's Day. 2 events that are taking place in 2022. Winterfest will always be the first weekend in February, so it kicks off on Thursday the 3rd with a 3-day hunt for the lost medallion. We hide that somewhere within the community and put out clues and people find it. Friday night, we're working with TJ on the activities at the community center, which will take place at 7 p.m. We're planning to have the ice rink open, the sledding hill open, the horse-drawn wagon rides going, excuse me, a bonfire with s'mores, and of course, we're having the fireworks at 9 p.m. Saturday, the party continues with activities and events taking place all over town, including radar runs and helicopter rides at Moonlight Bay. We'll have beer, koozie, and wristband deals and discounts at businesses all over town. And then, of course, the famous Soup Fest starts at noon, where participants travel around the different businesses and sample their soups. So additionally, you can look for all kinds of indoor and outdoor events hosted by the business community to complement the weekend. Hopefully, we'll be seeing the fire department flipping pancakes at the Lutheran church again. All these events can happen. They're back. There's no regulations about gatherings, so we're completely planning for the whole event. So according to Minnesota Department of Health guidelines, I need your approval to host the Soup Fest in the community on Saturday, and then, of course, your approval for the community center activities and the fireworks would be great in a form of a
Fabulous.
motion.
So we need a motion for that.
I move that we,
Yes.
I second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any other discussion on it? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All in favor. Thank you,
Thank
Cindy.
you.
All right, next.
Then I have Laura Gorgas here to talk about the parade.
Cindy, do you want a separate motion for the fireworks, or are we going to wait until we get an application from?
Yeah, you'll get an
pyrotechnic?
application from that will need to
Okay.
be approved.
Next month or something, yeah.
Yeah, when they send it.
Okay.
Good evening, council members. I have to say, this is the first time I've been in the new facility, and it's absolutely gorgeous, so congratulations on having this come to fruition. It is my honor to be here tonight to talk to you about the 48th Annual St. Patrick's Day Parade and celebrations. well-loved event in the Cross Lake area for many, many years. As you know, it's been canceled for the last couple of years in a row. So following this 2-year hiatus, the parade is coming back. The Clover Dash 5K and the Kids Run will take place on Saturday morning as planned. The parade lineup begins at about 10 o'clock in the town square area. The parade will then commence at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We're proposing the same route as we've used in previous years. Last year we did the Lucky Leprechaun Amazing Race, which won't take place this year. I think it's just a little too much, but the entire event is going to be organized by the chamber and of course a small group of us volunteers. The St. Patrick's Day Parade is one of the largest single event tourism events in the state and then also in Cross Lake. We're very excited to have it back this year, even have the opportunity to celebrate. So what I would like to work with the city on for support is, of course, the street plowing and cleaning, depending on how much snow removal is needed and or cleanup. The cone and barricade placement, Ted, old hat, right? And then police and fire, crowd control and emergency response planning. Of course, Eric, your services are much appreciated every year. So with that, I request your approval for the St. Patrick's Day celebration, utilizing city roads for the parade and the Clover Dash 5K on March 19th, 2022.
Fabulous. Who wants to make that motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the parade and the Clover Dash.
I'll second it.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion on it? Thank you very much for what you do.
Absolutely, it's
All
my
in
pleasure.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All in favor? Thanks, you guys. Thanks a lot. All right, Mr. Bray, come on. This is a hot topic here, huh?
It's always a hot topic when I'm here, I guess. Mr. Mayor and council members, thank you for having me again. Tonight I'm here to ask for a request of a letter of support for a federal grant that Crow Wing County is going to apply for. It's the Federal Land Access Program Grant. This is a federal grant that's authorized by the federal transportation bill that passed by Congress every several years. And it's really designed to enhance, as the name suggests, access to federal lands. And in Crow Wing County, this is about the only place that it would fit. It literally has to be adjacent or improve access to federal property. Of course, we're talking about the Corps of Engineers campground and recreational area right in the downtown area of Cross Lake. And the application was announced just on September 15th. It only comes out every couple years. And the deadline is December 15th, so really 90 days to kind of put this all together. And I think just a few weeks after it was announced, I met with some of the city staff, and I thank you, Mr. Mayor, and talked about it. And then also, again, just a few weeks ago, we talked about it again as we've developed portions of the grant. Many of you have maybe seen the picture in the paper, and it might have been the first time that you've seen it. And I apologize for that. It was hot off the presses, as a matter of fact, and I'll show what you may have seen in the paper. I don't know if this works. How does this?
So folks, what you're about to see here is the roundabout.
Okay. Yeah, well, I can't see it yet, but what I have, what I'm trying to display is a concept drawing that my staff put together and of what it could look like.
TJ, can you help me put that up, or don't you?
You know, this community has been talking about an intersection improvement there, including the possibility of a roundabout on a couple occasions. I know that there's been some community outreach meetings and things.
There you go. Good.
The Minnesota Design Team, there was a study done by another civic group here called the Blue Zone Study. Both identified a roundabout possibility. And there's been some other outreach and discussions about it for years. As a matter of fact, over the years, I've been asked, when's it going in? It's, you know, almost like it was a done deal.
Most people in town think of it more as a threat, Tim, just so you know that.
A threat?
A threat.
Okay, well, that's
The
good.
roundabout threat.
Well, that's why I'm here.
So we
That's
gotta
different
sell
than I've
this
been
thing.
hearing.
Is it?
Well, that's what.
A lot of support?
That's what I'm here to talk to you about.
Good.
Is-
Can
is
I-
a- Is a letter of support. Is it this way? Okay.
Would it be beneficial to see if anybody wants to make a public comment or question to you? Because we do have a pretty good audience here.
Sure, can I finish?
Yep, I'm
my-
sorry.
My
Yep.
spot, it's not much, really. Like I said, there's been talk about it for a long time. This is the only place that this grant could work. The intersection of CSAH 66 and 3 is very busy, as you know. The 66 is Crow Wing County's, one of its arterials, the north-south arterial combines with CSAH 3. It has 5,500 cars per day right now. And the growth rate on all of our roads is going up. And we all know that the Loon Center is also coming. And that's prompted the county and the city to work together on another project to really deal with the pedestrians. And so those are pretty high traffic volumes for, you know, our part of Minnesota. And at the peak times when the campground's full and this place is doing what it does, tourist destination, very popular, sometimes these roads double in volume. And that intersection can be very tricky for not only vehicles and pedestrians. And so that's really the impetus behind this, along with the community outreach that's been done over the years about this and identified this intersection as a problem. The total project cost of this right now, our estimates are at $1.2 million. And the federal grant we would be asking for the money for it is $802,000. And there's been some recent changes that increases the possibility for the federal government to pay 100% of the construction costs. Just a week ago, that stood at 80% like a normal federal grant, but with the passage of the recent infrastructure bill by the federal government, the $7 trillion, they decided to increase participation on this to 100%. That awesome. Means that, however, that the engineering costs and the right-of-way costs, if there is any, and any of the other upgrades coming along with it would be the responsibility of the local agencies, namely the county and the city. That's to be determined later exactly what that looks like. One thing to remember that this is a concept. There are some things that probably raise the concerns of those watching, namely access and maybe even some loss of parking. But what I want to tell you and those that may be watching is that this is a concept, and once we get the money, the hard work will begin of trying to figure out what is best for this community in terms of how it fits within there to reduce impacts not only to the Corps of Engineer campground, but also to some of the other features around there too. There's a lot of concern about pedestrian safety, and we want to accomplish that too with this. Talked about that. I met with the Cross Lakers. They had saw this in the paper, that group, and they invited me to a meeting last week, and we met, and they're looking at drafting a letter of support too for an intersection improvement. And maybe I believe there's some members here that may be able to or want to speak about that. The Corps of Engineer, Corrine Hodap, forwarded a letter of support. That is a requirement of this grant. Without her support or the support of the Corps of Engineers, we couldn't even submit the grant. So we're in receipt of that. The county board has passed a resolution agreeing to support it and then also maintain it in the long term and then also participate in the local match if there is one, and to pay for ineligible costs as well. So that's my presentation on that. I have one other thing I want to show. And some may ask, well, how does it work with this one? So we've partnered, the city and the county have partnered on this, another federal grant. This is the Transportation Alternatives grant summary. This one is the one that deals with pedestrians. So there's been effort over the last 3 years to make sure that the city of Cross Lake is dealing with existing deficiencies in the pedestrian network to make sure that you or we are all prepared for the influx of visitors associated with the Loon Center. And there is a little bit of overlap, particularly in this, obviously right at the intersection. If we are awarded both grants, we will combine them and work together into one particular project. The timing,
that's what I was gonna
so the
ask you.
timing of this, actually the one I just introduced with the intersection, the money could come as early as 2023. And what we've talked about before is even though that technically this is 2026 money, we would work to move this one up to combine them.
Could we do the 2023 intersection project in '24? Or does it have to be done? What's the time frame for it?
I'm not sure when it must be spent. Part of the application asked the last possible year that it could be done with our staff, and I put 2025.
Okay,
So
so
there's a
we
little
got the window,
flexibility
yeah.
to get it there. Obviously, or as you may all know, the Loon Center is projected to be completed and accepting visitors sometime in 2024. So just like the pedestrian accommodations, we're looking to have an intersection improvement that can be in place in a close time frame as when the residents will start coming and utilizing it.
Boy, that's gonna be a busy corner, huh?
Well, it is already a busy corner, and we're just looking to make some improvements there for existing problems as well as future, but the potential for future problems.
There is another project we're working on for that same space too. Do you want to address that too?
Which
The storm sewer?
Oh, right.
Stormwater.
There's been also some work with the water quality group in Cross Lake.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yep, that one.
And in this concept, we included the possibility of that being included in this too. I know in this particular area, there's already some work to try to improve the stormwater collection here so it doesn't dump right into the river. And I know that there's a group working on that. Rob Hall in my office is also on that committee. And there's some desire up here by the Corps of Engineers to do something with this wetland area. Of course, this needs to be drained, and so we want to maybe working on that too. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, yep.
I mean, I only mention, again, this is just a concept, so we want to include it. So if we awarded the money, we could include some of these concepts in the cost of the grant and be eligible.
How much community involvement are you gonna allow into this planning process? Community input?
That's a great question. The answer is a lot, because once we get the money, that's when it starts. So this is a concept, and it looks real nice picture, but there's a lot of things to be ironed out, and roundabouts are pretty complex. And there's a lot of actually options to kind of move this around so we can avoid some of the impacts. So it will be a full community involvement. I don't know if our staff will do it at the highway department, or we will hire a consultant to do it, but there will be a full community input process for it. And also some environmental documentation that's required of all federal projects.
So these projects are all going to be included in that 100% federal funding?
This one, I just found out that it could be eligible for 100%, and this other one that I showed still remains at 80%. This one.
That one? But
This one's,
are you including that in the 100%? The one that we've already submitted a grant for?
Two separate.
they're
I know
actually,
there's two different grants, but are you including this draft in your 100% federal funding?
no,
No?
it is
Okay.
just gonna be this picture, this is the concept.
Just the roundabout and the
Correct.
water quality control, or the
Correct.
stormwater control.
Correct. And then this one, there is overlap. They are competitive grants. We could get one, both, or neither.
I don't think the water
you double
quality
dip?
is part of that, is it?
Well, we'll talk about if we're awarded both of them.
Yeah.
Of course, I'd like to have money for both. And we'll see. certainly play that bigger. We got to be successful. These are competitive grants. There are no guarantees, as we certainly know on the other one.
So I think an important thing for the community is there are going to be some community involvement, so pay attention to the papers and any announcements that are coming out. I'm sure you'll have some meetings, some open meetings or whatever, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a requirement of the federal money, so we will be having some community outreach. And I know that there's people, as you mentioned, that may not be supportive of it, but I'm confident that we can, working together, design something that is amenity, to the community and meets the needs of the county highway department.
There's people like me that don't get to Brainerd too often, and roundabouts are kind of a scary thing, so.
Tim, as I understand it, Crow Wing's going to be working on at least 5 other roundabouts. So the roundabouts are sort of new for many of us in this part of the state, but there are other places in the country we've seen a lot of them. But I heard you were going to work on one at 3 and 11 and some others maybe.
Yes, I was looking at this. So even MnDOT's working on the potential of way down at Mill Avenue and 210, right at the East Brainerd Mall. One of the concepts they're looking at in the study of Washington Street is a roundabout there. And then as you go north on the corridor at the Y store at 3 and 4, we are going to install one there, the county. And then as you go up the corridor within the next few years, we're going to install one at 3 and 11, just south of Cross Lake. And then this will be the one on the north end.
Tim, can you explain?
Eric.
Can you explain to the people real quick? A lot of people, would prefer to have a stoplight or 4-way stop signs, and why that the roundabout is a safer option to everyone.
Sure, roundabouts, studies show that roundabouts can reduce up to 90% of the fatal, even more than that, 90 to 95% of injury and fatal crashes at intersections. Of course, the most serious crashes at intersections are the T-bone, high-speed T-bone crashes. It's impossible to do that in a roundabout. There may be crashes, but they're side swipes and don't result in injuries. And, at stop signs are the same thing. At stoplights and stop signs, I believe people are making a lot of assumptions that the person next to you is going to stop, and that's not always the case, and it can have catastrophic results. That's why Crow Wing County has started to install these. We have 5 in the next 5 years. This would be the 6th, and we're looking at others. Actually, with MnDOT's, it might be 7. So,
Tim?
yes.
From the first concept that I saw to this one is fraction of the size of that first one. Is this closer to reality, or, because the first one I saw took about 50-60% of the parking at Andy's.
What year was that?
It's been a while, 2-3 years ago.
Okay.
A couple of years at least.
I know that the Minnesota design team drafted one. That might have been the one you're referring to. I think we were involved in some early ones too. Roundabouts have evolved over the last just several years. It is a new technology. It's hard to think of it as technology, but part of the new concept are smaller ones that give the same benefits, but don't have as much of an impact in terms of size and on the environment and the adjacent properties. Some of the smallest ones can fit right within and not take up any room. But in this particular case, it's because of the vehicles going in and out of there, we feel it can be smaller than one of the ones you might see, a large one like at Nisswa. You might be familiar with them, where there's room in the center to put trees and stuff like that. This one's going to be much smaller. We don't know the exact size yet. We want to be respectful of the Corps of Engineers property and also make sure that the vehicles that go through this intersection can make it. That's all part of the design process. We have models that show the off-tracking of various types of vehicles, including what we used in this particular concept is a full-blown semi, to come up with some of these radiuses. So we'll do that same level of design here.
Okay.
So this one is smaller, that's correct.
I was just wondering how much space we're going to lose for parking and business efficiency so they can stay in business.
Absolutely, it's a very important consideration. Yeah. And again, just reiterating, it's a concept. We might be able to avoid Andes altogether. We don't know that yet. That's going to be part of the community input.
Yeah.
Did I answer
Thank
your
you.
question?
So it slows them down and keeps them going, huh?
It does, and one of the things that is on a lot of people's mind is pedestrian safety. That's certainly the city had worked really hard to install the flashers that are out there. We're all concerned about pedestrian safety. The thing about roundabouts is they're about the same for pedestrians. So for vehicles, they create a great benefit, 95% reduction in fatal and injury crashes. But for pedestrians, it's about the same. The benefit really, I'm going to keep showing this up there, the benefit for pedestrians on this one, everybody's still moving. Nobody's stopping currently, what design we have here. But the benefit is you only have to cross one lane of traffic. Right now, if you go out there, there are 5 lanes of traffic you have to go through. If you're going where the new flashers are right now, there are 2 lanes. It's a right turn lane into Holiday. It starts already. Then there's a through lane. Then you have the left turn lane. And then you have the through lane again going towards the campground. And then you have a right turn lane in. Pedestrians have to get across 60 feet of traffic before they're protected again. In this particular case with roundabouts, and one of the benefits to pedestrians is that they may wait there, but they only have to cross essentially 1 lane of traffic. And then they're in the refuge of the median. And so although the traffic is moving, there is still, in this particular case, based on the existing configuration, there will be a benefit to pedestrians at that area. And I just wanted to point that out because I know that the Cross Lakers were very concerned about pedestrians, and they will be involved moving forward, I'm sure, and the rest of the community.
Okay, Tim, thank you. Thank you much.
Thank you. Yes. Yes, I had worked with the city administrator, and I think he had maybe shared, Mike, did you share a draft in your packet? And I'm not sure exactly what it says. It will be a letter of support that we put on the backside of this application, and we appreciate your support moving forward.
So we need a motion to approve that letter of support.
However, do you like to do it? As long as
I
it's
move we
forward.
approve letter of support to the county.
You move to approve it?
I second it.
Okay. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
Okay, next is public forum. Action may or may not be taken on any issue raised. If council requires more information or time for consideration, the issues will be placed on the agenda of the next regular council meeting. Speaker must state their name and address. Given 3 minutes unless it's really interesting. We'll let it go. Come on, Jerry.
Jerry Volts, 37668 Moon Beach Trail. I just have one question. Why isn't that sidewalk fixed in front of the city hall here? It's been that way for a year. Somebody's gonna fall and get hurt there yet, and then you'll get sued.
Ted or Mike, do you guys want to speak to that?
It should have been fixed. It's been a year.
Yeah. Do we have a plan for it?
We brought pricing into the council when it got broken and it never went anywhere. I can bring it forward again and get it on the agenda to get it
You
done.
brought pricing to the council?
Pricing with you through high-tech before.
Oh, I don't recall that.
Well, I think it should be fixed. Well, now it's too late unless they're gonna heat it and stuff, but somebody's gonna fall and get hurt there, and then the city will see a lawsuit.
Was it submitted to the insurance company?
I don't believe so. I think we just asked high-tech for a price to fix it.
Why wasn't it submitted to the insurance company?
I don't know.
Maybe that's a thought.
Marcia, I do not know why it wasn't submitted. I can look into that and get
Well,
back to you.
let's try to put it on the hot to-do list for the spring, huh?
Mike, did you submit it to the insurance company?
We did not.
Okay.
It's been so long ago, I don't even remember what the price was. I can't tell you what the price was, so.
I don't recall either because I don't remember getting it.
Yeah, I don't recall either.
But I heard once that they were talking about making that a handicapped entrance right there. Is that still part of that consideration or not?
There wasn't enough room between the front door and where it's broken to do that.
Okay,
You don't have enough
Space.
ramp space.
yeah, got it. Thanks.
Okay, anybody else have anything? Come on, Cindy.
Again, Cindy Migotel with the Cross Lake Chamber, and I just wanted you to know that I have been soliciting input from the business community regarding the roundabout, and it's 50-50. They, see the need for it on a busy weekend, they don't see the need for it on February 22nd. One of their concerns is what exactly that cost share is going to be. So while this application that they're putting out, that's fine, get the money, but then do we have to spend it? I mean, if the plan doesn't come to fruition that we all agree on, can we give the money back or come up with a different plan? I just want you to be aware that the business community is really divided on it. And they're concerned about what it's actually going to cost them in taxes. He said the engineering would be covered at 100%, or the construction, I guess.
Construction,
But that doesn't
yeah.
include the
But
engineering,
that
the
budget went up
assessments.
150 too, did you notice that?
The what?
When we met, it was 650
Yeah.
and now it's 800.
So while, there's no harm in applying for the grant and seeing if we apply for it, the business community is much more excited about the sidewalks. I mean, that benefits all of them. And they know there's going to be some expenses to their taxes regarding sidewalks as well. It's a shared expense as well, but just use caution when moving forward with a project of this size would be their advice. Thank you.
All righty, thanks.
What is the ratio for the city's input on a county road? Why would we do that?
We couldn't quite get that out of him.
Well,
Cost
I'm,
share.
well, cost share, but do they cost share on city streets?
No, that
Okay.
is a debate yet to happen.
Well, it's a county road.
Yep.
Both of them are.
Okay, Peter, are you gonna do that now? Yeah, come on up. I thought you forgot about it.
Oh, no, I was just waiting my turn. Peter Graves, 14131 Sugarloaf Road in Cross Lake. I just wanted to bring this to the attention of the city council at this point. I don't think there's any motion that you need to have on this. But the Cross Lake Pickleball Community or Club wants to find ways that we can say thank you again to Cross Lake itself for the support that you provided in getting us those outdoor pickleball courts. And one of the things that has come up is that we would love to put on an April Foolish Day charity pickleball event. And the concept is that we would have 12 different charities or donation recipients identified that we think are in our local and in our community that we want to support. And we'd have 12 teams selected from the community in some fashion. And we'd have 3 divisions or 3 pools, so different skill levels set up. And on the day of the tournament, the teams would come in and pick out of a hat the name of a charity that they are going to be playing for. And they'd be in those 3 pools, and so 3 different charities are going to win a contribution. All of the fees that the tournament entrants pay would be going towards that, and we're also in talks with the Lions Club as one example of maybe being a founding supporter of this, and they would provide some dedication money that, again, whichever charities win, they would get the receipt of that. So this is just a concept for April Fool's Day. We want to go out there and have fun. What I'm looking for is finding more teams. I basically said I'd like each team to have some connection with Cross Lake. So my wife and I have volunteered to represent the Friday afternoon Bridge Club here in Cross Lake. I've got a team that wants to represent the Loon Nest, as another example. I would love 2 members of the city council to put a team out there and do that. I'd love the police department to give us 2 officers to play, the fire department to give us 2 members to play. I'd like this to be a fun time for the community to go out there and hit the ball around, and all the monies that we raise can go to those charities. And again, I'm probably going to be approaching the different businesses and banks in the area and individuals and say, don't you want to throw some money in there? I have no idea who you're going to end up supporting, but the money will go to a good cause. So
Good.
just
Good
keeping
idea.
you posted on that concept.
Thank you, Peter. Good idea. Okay, is there anybody else? Okay, let's close public forum and move into the consent calendar. All items here are listed to be considered to be routine by the city council and be acted on by one motion. No separate discussion unless a citizen or a council person so requests. So anybody have any questions? Do we have a motion to approve that?
I move that we approve the consent calendar as listed in the minutes or in the program for December 13th council meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries, all in favor. Next, the mayor and council members report. Number one is an updated resolution accepting donations. And I'm not going to read the whole resolution, but we have a donation from the American Legion Post 500 for $1,000 to be used for the police department. Another one, Roger and Carol Roy, for $1,000 dedicated to the fire department for air monitor calibration unit. And one from a Judith Nelson for $5,000 for the police department. Where do you get all the attention, Eric? Huh. Those are pretty nice donations.
I move we accept these three donations in the amount of $1,000, $1,000, and $5,000.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Opposed? Motion carries. Yeah, thank you. Next, we had a letter from Steve Roll again talking about the obscene signs, flags, and he wants an ordinance on that. Did you guys get a chance to look at it? I think Steve's on he was on here. Is he? Oh, yeah. So Steve approached the county. God, it's too bad we didn't talk to Bill about that a little bit. Not sure if there's going to get much action in it. Steve, you got your mic on?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
I'm having a little bit of difficulty hearing some of the conversation, but the question was?
Are you online? And you are. We're just talking about what do we want to try to accomplish here, other than just bringing it up again.
Well, I know the last time I spoke before the council, I told them that I would get back and let them know what I found out at the county. I have not gotten too far with the county. I did attend their board meeting and they let me speak for quite a long time. I have reached out to the county commissioners individually, trying to find out where they stand on this issue. They have not, I've heard back from one, besides Bill Brecken, who has been a great help. I heard back from only one of the commissioners so far. And so I continue to try and see if, where they're at or what's going on. Bill Brecken has been trying to get a meeting with the county attorney to talk about a few things. When I was at that meeting at the county, the sheriff said that he really was not in favor of his department enforcing an ordinance like this. And from that point is where I started down the path where I thought it would be better and it could show the city's or the county's intent if enforcement was by letter, similar to what the city does or the county does both send letters to homeowners all the time. Sometimes if your grass is too long or if you have too much junk in your yard. And that letter could then show the intent and that and you know, I keep hearing about First Amendment rights. And what I've been behind all along is I'm trying to protect the integrity of the city and its neighborhoods and protect the businesses. That's more what I'm about than trying to, you know, take away anyone's First Amendment rights or political rights. I mean, that's not where I'm at. So I've been working to try and make sure that that doesn't happen. So I've been working on trying to find out, you know, if a letter, you know, was used that would be sent to a property owner that pretty much said, hey, you know, the city doesn't think that your sign that has 4-letter words on it is really enhancing our communities or our residential neighborhoods or our integrity. And it really hurts the businesses because, you know, the whole area of Cross Lake is pretty much based on tourists and people who come, you know, and stay at their cabins. And I just think that, you know, when did it become okay to fly flags with 4-letter words on them? You know, that's in the public, you know, so that's kind of where I'm at. And I do think that the city has rights to try and protect the city and its neighborhoods. So I know the one commissioner who did respond to me told me that he was going to teach me about the Constitution. So I actually went out and bought a copy. I just came today, so I'm going to try and read that a little bit more because I think that the city has rights and I have rights and, you know, decent people have rights. And, you know, there's the First Amendment rights. So that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm hoping that we can try and move forward a little bit to try and investigate some of this stuff and see if there's any possibility.
All right, Steve, I'm not sure what to say to you other than I agree with you entirely. Steve had an incident. I'm going to just brush by this quickly for the people here. He had an incident. He had a flag flown next to him at his house, and it was, I don't know how to describe it, but it was a 4-letter word that was shining in his dining room window. So he called me about it, and I called the guy, I knew who the guy was, and I left him a voicemail, and he took the flag down. So maybe we just need to stand up for ourselves, and maybe that'll take care of it. Legally, nobody wants to touch it, but morally, I don't think it's a really accepted thing in our community. So I'm not sure how we're going to answer it, Steve, but let's keep talking about it.
You know, I understand that before the council can really do anything, the matter has to be referred to the Planning Commission? Is that true?
Any amendment to the sign ordinance, that would be correct. You would have to go to the Planning Commission. But right now, I think, based on legal advice that we've already gotten, we would have to increase our legal defense significantly. And I guess I get frustrated when I see laws get put on the books that are not enforceable. And so many of those become almost unenforceable, and they run our staff in circles. And I don't, so I have second thoughts running that back to it, but I think the mayor has the right idea. Maybe we table and we come back and look at that at a different night later this winter.
Let's bring a little Willie Nelson back into the community. Little Western justice and go and tell them to take it down. Anyway, I don't know, that's enough for tonight on that, but we'll keep thinking about it. If you got any other issues, let me know. I'll do something if I can. Are you good at the neighborhood now, Steve? Sign still?
I am, you know, I am.
It's changed? I mean, softened up a little bit?
The flag is down. The flag did not go back up.
That's good. So a message was sent and it was received. That's good.
and in the beginning, my concern was come spring, when,
Yeah.
being out on the lake, there could be a lot more of those, type flags that, it just didn't seem right to me. And, I've had my lake place for 40 years, and I just think that, I have the right to enjoy that property without, I think the Constitution gives me the right to enjoyment. So that's kind of where I'm at. And I understand, and if it's not going to work, I can take no. So, but hopefully, might be able to move it forward. So thank you for your time.
Yep, you betcha. Thanks a lot. Let's move it along. That's really all that was written down on the mayor's thing, but I got a couple other things I'd like to talk about. One is, next month, we've got some commission appointments we have to do. And I just want to let everybody know that we've got about 7 different commissions: Planning and Zoning, Park and Rec, Public Works, Economic Development, Public Safety, and the Public Right-of-Way. We got these commissions that we have to fill with citizens. And we also, we always need alternates or, trying to get people involved. So call the city clerk or call me or something if you got any interest in them. Next month, we're going to be redoing the commission appointments. And I don't think I need to list to them. We'll talk who's up and figure out if they want to reappoint. That's it on that. The next thing is property for the city. We always keep referring to property behind Andy's, but I think the city should be looking at any available property there is in town. There's no question we're growing, and the city doesn't have an overabundance of options with property to do. So we've talked about it up here. It never really goes anyplace talking about it at the council level. So I guess I'm going to keep digging a hole and looking around and snooping and bringing it back here if there's something available, but we're going to need parking. We're going to need spots, and even if we got property and we decided we didn't need it, we could always resell it. Enough of that. There is a little short-term rental update from the county. Bill Brecken had a deal that just kind of gives a few stats if anybody wants to take a look at it. Again, get a hold, Char, you got a copy. I don't want to dump a bunch of people on you, or give me a call or something and I'll give you a copy. Next, updating the city website. Char, I guess I'm going to direct this question to you, but who updates the city website?
Each department head updates their own section.
And how often does that happen? Ask the department heads. Only because I look up the city thing and I look on it and it goes back to like 2018 or something. It looks to me, from my appearance, that it doesn't get updated. Now, I'm not going specific to departments because maybe certain departments have got updates on it. But Steve's question about the obscene flags, I don't know what we all want to get into that, but I think we should have something a little more colorful when people look at the city site. Again, I just want to point it out. I guess that's all I had. Any comments to anything, or should we move forward? Mike, take it over.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Item 1 is a memo we do every year to make sure that we get all our vendors paid by year end. The problem is we won't have any more meetings between now and year end, so Shar put together a memo requesting that we're able to allow payment of invoices between December 14th and the 31st with retroactive council approval in order to pay for products and services obtained in 2021 with the 2021 budgeted funds, and to continue to paying bills through year end. A list of all bills paid during this time will be given to the council for approval at the first meeting in January. Do you have anything to add to that, Shar?
No, I'm just thinking back to Dave's last question. I'm just wondering if you're looking at the right website.
Well, I might not be. I just look up City Across Lake.
Okay.
And it comes
We
up.
might have an old website out there that you're looking at, because it should be up to date and it should be really colorful and pretty.
Yeah.
Well, then
So
why
I'll
is
talk to you after the meeting.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going online, but if I'm doing it, I imagine There's some other people here that don't get out of Cross Lake very often that probably see the same thing. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is up to date. It didn't appear to be by me.
I'll delete the other one. That's simple.
Yeah, right, if there is two. Okay, so back to your retroactive bills. You need a motion for that?
Yes, sure does.
Somebody want to make a motion, or did you have something else for that? No?
I move we retroactive approval of bills for payment.
I second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, item 2 under my report under F2 is, remember back in August, I came to you asking for a resolution to accept the funds from the American Rescue Plan Act back from March of 2021. We approved a resolution in August accepting the funds. Now, we left the numbers in there from August, and at that time, there were 32 million infected with COVID. This is in the United States only, 575,000 deaths. To put this in perspective, today, I checked the numbers this morning. They'll probably be different than John's, but these are coming off of the Wall Street site. The total number of cases just in the United States is almost 50 million. The number of deaths only in the United States is approaching 800,000. So we accepted those funds. We received the first payment of it. And at that time, not every governmental entity that was awarded funds were considered a non-entitlement entity because we're a smaller government. And we accepted those funds. For the communities that said we don't have a way to spend those, the state didn't know at that time what they were going to do with all those we didn't claim funds. So what they did was they made the first allocation of those funds for those communities that didn't claim or request funds, and they made a distribution, and the share of that distribution that came to Cross Lake was $4,078.56. So what we need to do is to pass a resolution accepting those funds. Now, they might do this again a year from now, and we'll see another $4,000, or we might not see anything. That remains to be seen. But my recommendation is we accept this resolution, accepting the additional funds with the changes I just talked about, the 50 million infected and 800,000 deceased.
I move that we accept the additional coronavirus local physical recovery fund from the American Rescue Plan.
I'll second it.
Okay, any other questions on it? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. All in favor.
All right, item F3 is every year we have one tax increment district in the city, and the agreement with that is, the county collects the money, they remit a portion of that back to the state, and what's left comes to the city keeps a little piece of that, and then 90% of what the city actually collects goes to the developer. For the second half payment, good news is the tax increment district, which is Midwest Properties, paid their second half taxes, and the amount due the developer is $5,973.70. So we'd like a motion from the council to release this payment to the developer.
I'll make a motion to release the amount to the developer.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I probably should have noted $5,973.70. Sorry. That's the amount.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Item 4 is a memo from Cheryl Stuckmeyer regarding the septic design review and installation inspections. Remember back at one of our last meetings, we were directed to find out, should we be contracting directly with this individual or letting the county handle it for us. The way it's worked in the past is the county did this work and they never charged us for it. This individual still got paid and he was still taking care of Cross Lake. We had quite a bit of discussion on this at our last meeting. And so what Cheryl did is she's contacted Greg Cosson. He stated his interest, and right now he's charging $215 for those services. Cheryl's recommendation is that we go ahead and ask him to contract it with us for that same service. We'd also like to pass that through to the applicant by increasing the permit fee as needed.
So my only question, Mike, is he's charging $215. Are we still gonna charge $250 on top of that?
Yes.
Okay, so it's gonna be $465.
Yep, they're paying that now.
Yeah.
It's just who are they paying it to?
Nothing's changing, except we're gonna have staff time in on it now, so I don't know why we would take it over. I'd let the county keep doing it. It's not gonna change anything. Everybody's gotta go up there anyway.
Let the county or let this Greg Cosson do it?
Well, the county's gonna contract with this Greg.
Would,
Well, it will change things. It'll slow our process down.
With
The
the
county
county.
has not been working with the applicants at all.
Don't they have to go up to the county
No,
to
they
get the
don't.
application?
They do everything here at the city.
Well, then how come they charge a fee?
Because they can.
Well,
The county doesn't charge a fee.
No, it's the Cross Lake charges the 250 fee.
215 she's talking.
We charge it.
We're passing it through. We
Yeah.
would have to pay Greg Cosson. We were never being charged for it in the past.
I
So
think
that's what
it's-
we talked about at our last meeting.
It's going to be easier and simpler if we just have our staff take care of it, isn't it?
Correct.
Okay.
And is that part of the design approval, the septic design?
Yes,
Okay, that's what it is?
yes,
Not at inspection also?
yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think it'd be cleaner to not depend on the county. Just
I'll
keep
make
it
that
here.
motion that we hire Greg Cosson to do the work for us and let our staff work through it.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion second, all in favor?
Hi.
aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I'm going to let Shar talk about the trash haulers.
All right. Last year, for the first time, we started licensing waste haulers because Cross Lake Roll-Off got shut down by the county and no longer was accepting recycling. So we wanted our waste haulers that picked up trash in Cross Lake to also pick up recycling. So we required that they get a license and that they also be required to accept recycling. So last Friday, I asked that all 3 haulers that we had last year submit their applications and fees. I received 1 application and 1 fee from Waste Partners. They were the only one with a complete package. I have received nothing from Pequot Lake Sanitation, and Tyler was here last month asking to reduce the fee.
Right.
I also received an application from Waste Management without a check. They said it was in the mail, but I haven't received it. Second problem. It appears that Waste Management is not offering recycling to its customers. On their website, you can go in there and put your address in, and it says what they can offer you. When we put in a Cross Lake address on Manhattan Point Boulevard, recycling is not even an option for you. When you put an address in Brainerd, it gives you the option to, it says recycling is mandatory.
So I think if I could talk, recycling is really important here because since Cross Lake Roll-Off left, the shortest spot to go to is down County Road 16, and I don't know how often people want to drive to the station there. So that's an issue, and I really want to keep that here for everybody. The other issue is that our charge right now is $1,000 a year. We're like in the ionosphere with this price. We got letters, Crow Wing County charges $25 per vehicle. This is an annual rate. Cass County's 25. Pequot's $100 a year. Pine River's $100. Breezy, nothing. Nisswa, nothing. You get into the Twin Cities, Minneapolis is 195, and if you have more vehicles, they charge you more. St. Paul's 369, Little Falls 250. I think the $1,000 is way too much.
What did we do that for?
I have no idea, Dave.
It was suggested by one of the waste haulers that that be the price,
Yeah.
and we went with it. So
I think you're right.
So can I make a motion to change it to
You can-
$100 a year?
Sure.
you can make a motion to do whatever.
I'll second that.
Yeah, okay, so let's get rid of that. Okay, we got a motion and a second to change the fee to $100 a year. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, let's do that, and then maybe
Okay.
Tyler will come back.
Second request, is there a date that they have to turn their,
I asked them to have that in last Friday,
do we need to extend that? Would it,
obviously, unless we just want to have one trash hauler.
So what do we do with waste management who doesn't want to recycle?
That's my question. You know, they're nationwide. So for one, they're hard to get a hold of. Sometimes you call the number and you get someone in Texas. You never talk to the same person twice.
Do we tell them they're not welcome in Cross Lake? Kick them out of here?
They're popular. I'm not sure what I should do.
But isn't the ordinance say they have to recycle?
It does.
Okay, so end of the story, isn't
Yeah.
it? I mean,
They're not willing to.
recycle or don't come in Cross Lake.
Okay.
In the
But
end,
I-
you go out to Manhattan Point
I
and
guess
pick
the
up,
council
so-
should make a motion on that
Yeah,
or
they should.
follow, at least general consensus that we follow the licensure of, they're required to recycle or they don't get a license.
I'd like to also make a motion to extend the application period to the end of the year.
Dave, I think you're going to have to go longer than that. You're probably going to have to go to the end of January because she's going to have to send new letters saying, here's the new fee. And and then tell them if they don't apply and pay the fee, they're not going to be allowed to pick up anything at Cross Lake.
Well, there's only one that didn't apply, and I can call Tyler.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we do owe him an answer on the letter, so, and we did give him one here, so.
And Eric will chase them down if they don't, so.
So anyways, let's at least extend it to the end of the year.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right, thanks.
Okay, so I'm sorry, the motion is to extend the deadline to the end of the year. And what was,
For them to make applications.
and was that it? Was there two parts to it?
No, that's it.
Okay. Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
I'll bring you an updated resolution then, retroactive to the first of the year. And then I would like either a consensus or direction by motion on how to handle waste management.
Just tell them we got we have to recycle, and if you're not willing to do so,
Is it in the ordinance or is it in the licensing? It's in the ordinance, right?
It's in the ordinance,
Send them the
yes.
section in the ordinance saying you have to provide recycling or you don't get a license.
Okay,
And remind them that their website is outdated because it doesn't list it.
okay.
thank you, Shar. Okay, TJ, you're up.
Good evening again, council. Item 1 in front of you is in regards to the irrigation expansion project. If you remember back in September, I asked for approval to complete this project. Contractor never showed up. Things fell through in the fall. And again, if you remember, we completed an irrigation expansion project around the playground. Our goal was to complete this around the pickleball courts as well. We had the planning and development of the pickleball shade feature, and we didn't really know where that would go, how big it would be, so we did not do the irrigation expansion right away in the spring of 2021 around the pickleball courts. So that's why I asked for approval in September. Again, they never showed up, so I am asking for approval to move that into 2022. It is already accounted for and budgeted. It will not affect our levy. It's just going to be pushed into 2022.
So a question for you, TJ. Who is the installer that is not showing up?
That would be North Central Lawn and Irrigation.
Out of where?
I don't know.
Long Prairie,
Long
Minnesota.
Prairie, I believe, yeah.
So
We do have a history with this company. They have done all of our irrigation in the park.
And you're getting more of a history with them as time goes on, apparently.
The thing here is, we've had a history with lightning striking some of our zones and, some of our zones and kind of melting our wires together. They did all of the work, so they kind of know the ins and outs of our system. It'd be kind of hard to get someone in there and work on our repairs, if any, and/or future development. We can look at different businesses in the future. It just
I am going to make a motion that we give our local sprinkler guys in town here a chance to bid on doing the work for the city on that stuff. And they can catch up and they can figure it out. We're not handcuffed because they know where the circuit board is. So I just think that, we got, I don't know how many we have in town here. See if anybody's got some interest and get a bid. Not that I want to have them bid against each other and price war it down, but I think we should support town here as much as we can.
And I did contact some of the other businesses when we were ready to complete this project, after we kind of knew what was going on with the pickleball shade feature. And I did get word back from a couple in town that they're just way too busy. There's no way they would be able to get it done yet that fall. So that's why I brought this one to you guys.
Right, but I just think the policy should be that we keep it here and keep the community involved as much as we can.
Absolutely.
So, obviously, those guys are too busy and can't get it done too, so people are busy. But maybe one of them wants to take it on, so. That's a motion, so you guys agree with that or not?
Well, I disagree because we've been talking about a price here, so how fair is that to these guys?
Yeah, but the price isn't gonna be good next year anyway.
It's
That
good,
price is
good,
actually
he's
2 years.
carrying it over to next year. He put the work
Budgeted
in.
price, but is the guy gonna honor that price?
He honored
is,
it. That's the one
yeah.
I gave you there. He said the price that he quoted in 2021, he will stick to in 2022.
Oh, well, I guess that's a point. That's valid.
Are you also carrying the funds forward from 21 to 22?
Correct.
Okay.
That's
That's
the only
where
way-
the assignment of funds comes in.
Wow.
That's the only reason I wasn't reaching out to other local businesses, just because they would stand by the price that we accepted.
Yeah, well, that makes sense to me. So that motion, nobody's gonna second it, it's gonna die. So what do we wanna do? Just make a motion to move the money forward?
Well, I'll make a motion that this 4,300 goes into Park and Rec assignment of funds balance for 2022, and that's where we'll take it out.
And to be completed in the spring of
And to be-
2022.
Well, whenever they'll come.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna hold them to it.
I'll
so.
second that, Marcia.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to move it forward. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item B, you have a Kichigami Regional Library System Service Contract. This is an annual contract. Nothing has changed. So it would be my recommendation to approve this contract for 2022.
Need a motion?
Correct.
I move we approve the motion. Service contract?
I second it.
John seconds. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item C, you have a lot split, McGregor lot split. An email was sent out to the Park Library Commission with the purpose of getting a consensus regarding the lot split. It was the consensus to approve collecting cash in lieu of land, and that would be $1,500 in park dedication. We'd be looking for a motion to approve that park dedication money.
I move that we accept funds in lieu of land for the McGregor lot split.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. My last item again is another lot split, the Curtis lot split. On November 17th, it was brought before the Park and Library Commission. And again, it was a recommendation from the Park and Library Commission to accept cash in lieu of land. And this again would be $1,500 in park dedication.
I move we accept the $1,500 for the Curtis lot split.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
That's all I have.
Thank you, TJ. Public Works, Ted.
Mr. Mayor, I believe the first one, Phil Martin's going to talk to these. Are you there, Phil?
Yep.
Items A and B,
Jim.
Phil?
Okay, so item A is just the update regarding the CSA 66 sanitary sewer extension. This is kind of our thought process in terms of getting that out to bid. We think that, the best time to bid it is in January. We're proposing to begin the process on January 4th, open bids on January 27th. That'll give us an opportunity to review the bids, tabulate them, see who provided, what their background is with the city and other projects we've been involved with, and then be able to bring that in front of the Public Works and the city in February. In the bid, in the contract agreements, we'd like to offer flexibility to the contractor that's bidding. We know that there's concerns about supply chain. We know that things that traditionally were in a yard are taking a lot longer to get. So we're leaving it with a kind of a two-step construction period. The idea being we'll give the contractor the entire construction period that we normally see in the state of Minnesota, and that's up until into October. The idea being they get the project substantially complete by October 1st, meaning all the concrete work's done, all the paving's done. They've got the restoration at least put down, and then we final it out by the middle of October. We picked those dates because the county typically likes to see the paving completed by October 15th. What we add, though, in there is also the caveat that once a contractor starts working, they've got 65 working days to get the project completed. And the reason we do that is we believe that once a contractor starts, the clock starts ticking and they need to get the work done rather than going somewhere else and then coming back when it better suits their workload. So in our case here, we're giving them the flexibility to start the job when they want to start, but it also has the tether, if you will, to make sure they get it done within 65 working days once they start. So I guess what we're seeking is approval from the council based on the recommendation that the Public Works already gave to go forward and get these bids in January.
Okay, any questions on it? Have a motion?
I'll make a motion to allow the sewer extension on County Road 66 to be advertised for bids.
I second it.
Okay, the question, does it include the road projects, Phil, or not? Phil?
What was that?
Does it include the road projects or just the sewer?
This is just the sanitary sewer, stormwater, and reconstruction of CSA 66.
Okay, so we got a motion and a second on that. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
The road project should come to you next month.
Okay.
I do have a question. The stormwater quality improvement, that's not what Tim Bray talked about tonight, is it?
No, this
It's
is,
completely different.
that's the one on this, we're talking about on 66 on this end of town.
Okay,
The other stuff is down by the roundabout, so,
okay. 66 and 3 is what he was talking about.
yes.
Yeah, okay.
And keep in mind, they're going to redo both bridge decks somewhere along the line.
I'm moving.
I hinted at the last Public Works meeting that I was going to be bringing a quote for an update to the lift station controls. We received a price from Total Control, which is the company that does our all of our telemetry at the wastewater plant. And it was about $400,000 to go in, and they were essentially starting all over with brand new lift station controls, brand new panels, and then integrating it into the plant. And I got to looking at it, it just didn't make a lot of sense because we have perfectly good stainless steel control panels. They're gonna last for a long time. Our system needs to be updated, new PLCs to run and monitoring, and then a different system that sends the signal back to us, so we can monitor the lift stations. So I called up Quality Flow, which is the company that provided all of the lift stations. And so this is a lift station controller for the 6 lift stations and a cellular monitoring upgrade. So what it'll do, it'll send a signal through the cell phones, goes to a dedicated site, we can pull the information down, it sends us all the alarms. So everything we were gonna get from the other company for the $400,000, we're talking $49,980 to do it. I have in this year's budget $50,000 that is earmarked for lift stations. We probably wouldn't get it done if you authorized me to move forward with this. I wouldn't probably get it done before the first of the year. But the way they made it sound is in January, latest February, they could have all this done. So what I'd like to do is just take and earmark the money and carry it over and move forward and get authorization to move forward with this and get these stations updated.
Did you talk about that at Public Works?
Yes, we did.
Recommendation?
I didn't have this to show them. I told them about it. I think everybody was unfavorable of going forward with it. It's so.
Ted, I have one question. You're getting new controllers. Is there any software work that is going to be there? Because they haven't.
It's all of the computer controller, yeah.
Yeah, but who's writing the software? Is it
It's all
different than
part
what
of
you
the-
have?
Each one is in the little PLC. They're individually PLCs.
And they're going to do that, although it isn't said here.
It's install and update, so yes.
Okay, all right.
So, sign us up?
It's a better price than 400.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we move forward, and you want the funds assigned for next year and not try to get
They're
it
not
done.
going to get it done this year, no.
Yeah, probably not. So I'll
Even
make
if
a
we order it
motion.
today, it'll-
I'll make a motion to approve this and assign the funds for 2022.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion, all opposed? Motion carries, all in favor.
Mr. Mayor, Council, at the council meeting, there was a motion by the council or a direction by the council for the staff to come up with a way to take the minutes for Public Works. While you guys were in attendance, the city clerk was taking the minutes. I had been taking them. One of Mr. Schrupp took them for a while when he was part of on our committee. What we'd like to do is try what the other commissions are doing. The park department has one of their staff take the minutes. It's tough to run the meeting and take minutes. The same thing with the planning and zoning. John would run a meeting, Cheryl would take the minutes. We'd like to do the same thing. I'd like that we run the meeting ourselves and one of my staff be utilized to take the minutes. That's what we came up with for now. If one of my staff is not available, Shar said she would be available to step in and help in that during that time period. I know Public Works had a motion from them that they would like to see the clerk do it from now on. That was their motion, and everybody was in favor of that. But we'd like to try this. You did tell us to come up with a plan. That's the plan we've come up with so far. We'd like to try it.
Well, I think we gave the staff a chance to do that, and we don't have minutes from the last 2 meetings, so.
The minutes are done from both meetings. I just not have gotten it to the commission to get them approved yet.
Okay. I still would like to make a motion to have the city clerk take the minutes of the Public Works meetings.
Do we have a second on that?
That was the recommendation from Public Works.
I'll second that motion. Any other discussion on it? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Opposed.
All right, there you go.
You're still recording these, aren't you?
Yes, all meetings are
So-
recorded.
So they can look at that if they need to.
Yes.
Let them try it with a staff person taking the minutes.
I think we can do just as good a job.
Give it a try. If it doesn't work, come back.
Well, I think it gives the staff person some insight into
What's going on?
what goes on in your
Well,
department.
part of it is
you know?
I want to use it as a development tool for staff.
Exactly, yeah.
I have nothing else, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Ted. Our last public forum, action may or may not be taken on any issue raised. Council requires more information or consideration. The issue will be placed on the agenda next meeting. Each speaker is given 3 minutes. Please identify yourself. Does anybody want to come up? Please. Bob?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I just noticed a couple of issues that were brought up today, and maybe for clarification.
Could we get a name and address, please?
Sure, Bob Fry, White Pine Trail. The roundabout is brought up here, and I was wondering, from the business standpoint, what could be done to draw businesses into that concept. And I think I heard Mayor refer to a piece of property behind Andy's, was it? Between Andy's and Reed's. If you're going to put a roundabout in, it might behoove the city to pursue acquiring that strip of property there for the park that could be integrated. And it also might bring the businesses a little more amiable to want to go along with the project if they saw people coming from these federal parks over to the city and getting into the heart of the business community there. And I was just wondering if anybody knows anything about that property, or if that could be pursued, or make a request to have somebody look into that, because it seems like it would be a tremendous opportunity for the city to make that investment, rather than turning it into some other privately held corporation or something else going on. If as long as a comment was made to keep your eye out for property in the city that might be available right in the heart of what's going on there with that consideration of the roundabout.
That topic keeps coming up, Bob. We keep talking about looking at that, and that particular piece of property is since 2017 we've been talking about it. And for some reason, I cannot get the council to support looking into it, negotiating it. We talk about it, it stays quiet here, it disappears and it goes away. So apparently there's no urgency or need, or I don't know, you guys, maybe that's an unfair statement, but
This would be an opportunity then with this roundabout to revisit it, because whoever is, there's obviously discussion on it.
didn't we talk about that earlier in the meeting? The property in this meeting?
Yes, yeah, I think you
And
made
what
it.
happened with it? What happened with the conversation?
It just was a passing comment
Yeah,
that I happened to pick up on. And
But it just goes nowhere for some reason. So I would challenge the council to say either yay, nay, forget it, we don't need it, or let's move on it, or let's look at it.
Well, I'd like to make a request to put it on the agenda to discuss it, or whatever needs. This is a public forum, and maybe to revisit it, since the Chamber of Commerce is concerned about the businesses getting on board, bringing business into the heart of the community there, and it's a beautiful piece of property that I looked at it. I'm new to the community, but I looked at it. Like, wow, that's
Yeah.
just
Unfortunately, I think we've delayed that to the point where it's probably not available anymore. And that is a tragedy to the city that we lost that opportunity. But we don't know that for sure, so.
So Dave, I just want to remind you that, and probably everybody here, that the last 3-4 years, we've been spending money like fools. Buying land for this facility, we spent money on this facility. We remodeled the fire hall, and we did streets, and I think during that time, when the subject came up, I think everybody was a little gun shy with spending more money. I would recommend that you get community involvement and set up some team or some group that talks about it. And if they can come up with something that, looks like it's going to be a fit or a recommendation, then we can look at it. I mean, we can't decide right now, because one of the cost aspects is going to be buying the property. The other aspect is, what do you
It's an
do with it?
investment in the community, no
Right.
question.
You know?
No
And there's gonna
question,
be
but-
people that'll say, don't cut the trees down, you know, I don't know how old they are, you know, they're not gonna be there forever, but I think it's time that you just put a committee together and start discussion and get some recommendation from the community on it.
So that's gonna be a 1.5 plan or something to come back with
Or
the
less,
parking
you
lot?
know, I think
or-
a lot of people
There are
have a lot of
plans
ideas.
developed with it.
You
know.
can do that in 6 months, Dave.
Yep.
It's a one
Yeah.
project, it's not
Okay.
like building.
I mean, you could
Right.
do it in 6 months or 5 years, but I'm just saying, I believe that property is gonna be gone in that meantime, and,
Seems like a golden opportunity. I appreciate the.
yeah,
the-
I appreciate you coming up, Bob.
Set up a committee.
Okay, well, I mean, I'll ask, anybody who wants to get involved in looking at what to do, but we've actually done it, there's plans
TJ.
drawn.
I'll
Park
recommend
and Rec, do you
TJ
wanna do
starts.
that, through the Park and Rec?
Yep.
Good.
Good idea.
Okay,
Dave,
Yeah.
I have a list of names of people that told you they wanted to be
Yeah.
involved in that,
yeah.
and no committee was ever formed. I have those names still.
Give them to TJ.
Give him the TJ
Yeah.
and set something up.
And put my name on it, TJ. Okay, anybody else for public forum? Okay, Brad, you got anything? New business? Old business? All right, somebody do it.
Move to adjourn.
We have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.